On a chilly October evening, Mark and Lisa were driving through rural Pennsylvania on their way back from visiting Lisa's family. The GPS, as usual, took them off the main highway and down a series of winding back roads. By the time the sun had dipped behind the hills, they found themselves in unfamiliar territory, surrounded by thick woods and endless farmland. When Lisa asked where they were, Mark glanced at the GPS. The screen showed a small town up ahead, Ashford. Neither had heard of it before, but the idea of grabbing coffee and stretching their legs sounded perfect after hours on the road. A few minutes later, they spotted a green highway sign, "Welcome to Ashford, founded 1821. The reflective paint shimmered faintly under their headlights. At first glance, Ashford looked like something out of a postcard. The streets were clean, lined with old Victorian houses and tidy lawns. A few storefronts still had glowing neon signs: a diner, a hardware store, a barber shop. The only strange thing was the silence. No traffic, no pedestrians, not even a dog barking. "Guess it's one of those sleepy small towns," Mark joked. But Lisa's unease was obvious. They parked outside the diner, relieved to see a bright open sign in the window. Inside, the place smelled faintly of coffee and grease, just like any roadside diner. Booths were neatly arranged, silverware wrapped in napkins, salt shakers full. But there wasn't a single person there. Not a customer, not a waitress, not even someone behind the counter. Lisa whispered, "This is too weird. Let's just go." Mark tried to laugh it off, but the longer they stood there, the heavier the silence felt. Finally, he agreed, and they headed back toward the car. But when they stepped outside, something had changed. The streets were darker, as though the street lamps had dimmed. The neon signs in the nearby shops flickered weakly, then went out one by one. Mark turned the key in the ignition, but the car wouldn't start. Not even a click. Lisa's voice trembled. "Mark, look." Across the street, a figure was standing perfectly still in the shadows between two buildings. Too far to make out clearly, but tall, just watching. Mark tried to call out, but his throat felt tight. His words stuck. Then, as if on cue, more figures appeared, one by one stepping out of the darkness. Silent, unmoving, watching. Panic surged. They abandoned the car and started down the main street on foot, desperate to get out of Ashford. But every road they turned down only led them back to the same intersection with the diner. The town seemed to be folding in on itself, trapping them. Lisa was on the verge of tears. "It's like we can't leave. We're stuck here." And then they heard it. A low hum, rising from everywhere at once. The figures in the shadows began moving, not walking, but gliding closer, their faces pale and blurred, as if unfinished. Their mouths moved in unison, whispering words Mark and Lisa couldn't understand. They ran, down an alley, across a yard, past houses with curtains that twitched, as though something inside was watching. Finally, they saw the edge of town, the same "Welcome to Ashford" sign. Beyond it, the dark outline of the forest. But as they stepped past the sign, the air shifted. Suddenly, they were back at the diner. The same neon sign, flickering. The same empty streets. Lisa sobbed, clutching Mark's arm. "We can't leave. We can't leave. And then, as if a switch had been flipped, everything went black. Mark woke up in his own bed the next morning, sunlight streaming through the blinds. For a moment, he thought it had all been a dream, but when he sat up, his clothes from last night were still on, caked with dirt and frost. On the nightstand sat something that hadn't been there before, a laminated menu from Ashford Diner. The specials of the day were typed neatly across the top. The date printed on the menu read, October 17th, 1956. To this day, when Mark checks his GPS history, he swears the name Ashford is still there, pinned on the route he took that night. But whenever he tries to search it online, there's nothing. No records, no maps, no proof the town ever existed. And yet sometimes when he drives alone through Pennsylvania back roads, he swears he sees a faded sign just beyond the tree line. Welcome to Ashford, founded 1821.